Alright fellas, the question I see all the time remains unanswered. What is the best army possible in Bannerlord? Is it a horde of cons guards, swarming with hit-and-run tactics, or a mix of Fian Champs and Imperial Elite Cataphract, sweeping everything in front of them aside? Is it masses of elite palace guards and Valandian sharpshooters, or some kind of mix of the best troops in the game? In this series, we'll look to explore and answer that question, as I put my 10,000 hours of Bannerlord to the test with 400 elite mixed units comprised of what I consider the best possible 400-man army in the game. We'll take on a variety of different challenges and, amplified by mods, enormous legions of the enemy to try and demonstrate the awesome power of the perfect Bannerlord army. Last time I looked, they had taken Vostrom, and, you know, we have brrrrzzzt. There's a chance that they're heading to brrrrzzzt, so let's go look for the Northern Empire here. We just had that brutal siege defense at Hassan Folk. I was going to say, just had a siege defense at Hassan Folk. Immediately, the Sturgeons are coming behind, and this is amazing. It was Khazate forces, and they're instantly forming another army here. The StrengthenAI mod, I mean, it's just continuous. Whoa! We have a flotilla of Northern Empire coming here. They look like they're in vanguard position. That is awesome. They are traveling to this castle here. So, what are we going to do here? Let's see. I don't think we can fight an open battlefield against 4,000, 5,000. And I got an idea. We have the reinforcement mod system working. What if we go to Hassan Folk here with the same army? This would be wild. We just fought a battle at Hassan Folk against the Khazate. That was yesterday. Looking for more battle here. We can't fight 3 different huge armies in the open. They're gaining on us here. In fact, I might get captured. We got to dump some equipment. We're super encumbered for some reason. I guess it's all the war booty, right? We've just been mangling everything in sight. So let's dump all this shit on the road here. A bunch of sheep and butter. And dumping butter on the road. You know the Valandians are going to come find it, right? Come on, butter boys. Come get your butter. It's free. And the Khazate are forming another army. We've got so much carnage in this 400 campaign. Look at it's on the other side of the map, but the Valandians are coming. And of course, our pacifist nobles want peace with the Valandians. Why? Just because we're outnumbered 4-1? Fight you, bitches. Now, these guys may siege the castle, but I'm going to try to basically bait them. Damn, they're sieging the castle. I was hoping that me being so close would bait them to chasing us, because then... this guy he's taking the bait. So at least one of these armies is coming after us. It looks like we'll be able to make it there too. So let's see what's here at Hassan Folk. This army may join this siege now as a reinforcement, part of this reinforcement system that makes Bannerlord so exquisite. Almost 3,000, over 3,000 Sturgeons. In fact, we've got both of these armies that are hot on our heels. Just got to give them a proverbial stripper's whiff here. And oh shit, we got a problem here. 2,800. We're gonna get trapped and captured here. I mean, maybe we can. Let me see here. Maybe we can loop around to the north side of the city here. But look at this gnarly situation. I mean, there are armies swarming everywhere. The mods we're using are just making for an exquisite gameplay. As a content creator, this is orgasmic because I just have plenty of opportunities to feed you guys amazing battles. And these guys are hot on my heels. It's almost like I fucked their sister or something like that. So let's try to wrap these guys around the edge here. The Sturgeons are all sieging, and what a chaotic situation we have. And it just started raining, and I think we'll make it in. These Northern Empire forces are right outside the wall. So I have, in effect, created this situation where there are 2 huge Northern Empire armies chasing us, 4 Sturgeon armies slamming into the city. We have a good likelihood that the reinforcement system will kick in and the Northern Empire here will join. We're outnumbered worse than the previous battle. And, you know, you might be watching these back to back, so we'll see. We'll see if this is boring. Of course, I might also intersperse some other episodes in between here. But we've got another siege defense of Hassan Folk. So strap yourself in, fellas, and welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, dedicated to Epic Siege. So the last battle was kind of in the dark. We'll be able to see what's going on here. And what is going on here? How come I have no troops? Oh shit, you know what happened here? I have the battle size mod turned off because we've been fiddling around with Shokuku. Man, I'm sorry to mispronounce it. Shokuho, this amazing Japanese overhaul mod, and so we only have like 200 and something troops on the screen. So you guys want to see, some guys want to see sort of, I guess you would consider this a vanilla siege. Well, you're going to get it here, right? We have a lot less troops than normal to deal with. So for a lot of you, this is probably going to look more like your console sieges, right? Where instead of where we have 600 defenders inside and troops everywhere, we've got a lot less. And I don't usually do this, right? This is kind of new for me. So I'm trying to take a minute here. I'm definitely going to mix some infantry with archers, but I don't have very much infantry and we have to guard the gate. That's a priority. So I'm not actually thrilled about it. And this will answer, I think, some guys' questions. Some people think that it's easier with the battle size mod to defend cities. I guess we'll see. I've never done a test, so this can, in a way, serve as both hopefully an epic battle and a test. We'll see how this goes. Now, we're still going to get, what do we have, 600 troops, right? Something like that. We're still going to get all those troops, but they'll come in the form of reinforcements. So I'm going to have to micromanage. We're going to have to be a highly active commander here. And I think we'll play this left side or right side a little different. I like that division there, the 4th, and a big long spread. We want them to have shields because they're the division I'll steal for to set up our square at the gate. They've got good line of sight. These guys have to have good line of sight. It's critical, right? Now, how come they don't have shields? I don't understand how come those guys don't have a bunch of crossbow. We'll figure that out. Now, I'm going to try to use this ramparts up here. All these intricate little stairs and stuff, that presents really difficult access for the enemy. There's that one little wooden bridge and a couple Fian Champs standing on it like Gandalf. That's definitely going to be formidable for the enemy. And look at that. We can spread it out. We have 3 different crossfire angles on this side and a square or a shield wall holding that base. That'll work deliciously. Even with less troops, that should work really well. 5th Corps up here, I like that. These guys seem to take some losses, but they deal way more than they take, right? They get killed, a couple 4 guys get killed, but they kill 400 because they're just firing into the troops that are on the ladders or at the gate. Now, I still have the 8th Corps, and we're still going to drag the 7th Corps up onto this circular rampart. So I probably will put an episode in between these just to separate them, but we'll see, right? You guys understand that this is going to be a different siege. They don't have a siege tower. We've got a lot less troops. Buckle up, fellas. This should be a wild ride, and it should be a long siege, right? Because this might be against 10, 11, 12,000 troops, right? So Epic Siege, redefining it across YouTube, I think this qualifies, right? If all those Northern Empire forces join, we're looking at 11, 12,000 troops sieging Hassan Folk here. It might be nighttime by the time this battle ends, and I will come up with some things to talk about, especially if there are stages of this that seem somewhat repetitive. We will keep you fellas entertained, and our normal sprightly commentary to keep things from getting stale. Now, same thing I've done before, pulling this 7th Division along the circular edge here, and I'm basically trying to get these guys in a nice crescent facing this valley. So you don't want troops lined up like that. It's much better just to have them follow you, and then as soon as they're right about there, tell them to start. And almost every guy can shoot. Almost every guy there was a Fian Champ and a Khans Guard. And this is perfect, right, for this perfect Bannerlord army series. 2 huge sieges, virtually back-to-back. I think less than, oh shit, we're getting some losses here. Maybe I fucked up here. We don't have a siege catapult, I just realized, unless it's somewhere else. I was a little bit careless. I didn't notice where it was positioned at the beginning of this battle. So this is going to be interesting. That's obviously going to make it harder because we can't kill scores of troops here at the beginning with our fire catapults. I got my horse. We're going to keep my horse nearby at the beginning here, although, of course, I won't fight on it. I do this early on to scout. And I'm looking at all these guys. I'm basically counting the arrows that have hit their chest, right? It looked like 2 or 3 guys were getting shot and the rest were safe. That's a good recipe. being a commander in a crazy long siege like this is literally all about just doing risk assessment, just like we do in the fire department, in the fire service. I'm a full-time firefighter, 30 years now in the career. And some of you guys are probably like, I'm not even 30 years old, man. You've been a firefighter for 30 years. It's actually a bit more than that with my time in the military. And so far it's quiet. It's really strange because I don't have any siege catapults. There's not much for me to do other than to just sort of look over our troops here and make sure they're in the right position. And I'm thinking about a couple different subjects to talk about. I might spend 2 or 3 minutes on the siege of Mobile Bay. I like to talk about sieges and stuff like that during sieges just because it feels appropriate, right? We're in this gnarly siege. I could talk about the Alamo a little bit, but it's not something I'm an expert at, right? There are some subjects of history where I could literally give a nice college lecture, but the Alamo is something that I'm just aware of. I'm aware of the pre-circumstances, but I don't know the siege very well, other than it was a fuckload of Spanish and they killed everybody at the fort. Now, that doesn't look too bad, right? We're just observing all these thousands of throwing axes and hammers coming up there, and we lost a guy there. But remember, these troops have extra hit points. I'll mention that here at the beginning. If you're wondering how our troops survive so well, we have almost 200 hit points for every troop. Some of them might have a little bit more. And the companions are beasts. This is part of our 400 series, right? The perfect Bannerlord army in this case. It really does feel like the Spartans against this, we'll call them the Persian sturgeons, right? It almost rhymes. And I'm going to chuck every single rock here while the killing's good, right? Get it while the killing is good here. Now, let's see. We could also do the Siege of Vienna, although the Siege of Vienna is something I've only recently started to study in depth. I don't know why I study history. I guess because it's fascinating, and also because it's interesting to see these dipshit human beings out there repeating history over and over again. It's amazing. History really does repeat. And I think it's because by and large part, especially politicians, don't seem to study history, right? Napoleon was a huge fan of studying history. He went all the way back to the Roman era. He was studying Tacitus and all these guys that were Pliny, all these guys that were recording history 2,200 years ago. And that was because Napoleon understood one of the basic maxims, that knowledge is power. And if you have a lot of knowledge, right, you can obtain a lot of power, and he certainly did, right? It helps you prepare for all the trials and tribulations you're gonna face as a statesman. Although he should have known also that it was the Swedes, right, invaded Russia in like 16 something. Didn't go so hot. So Napoleon evidently was a fan of history, but thought he could rewrite it. Don't invade Russia, right? And even Hitler, fucking dipshit, didn't learn from history either. All he had to do is read a history book about Napoleon. You invade Russia and winter sets in and you get fucking mangled. And these dipshits, it's astonishing, right? These guys had a chance for ultimate glory. Napoleon probably could have set up peace after his 1811 and 1809 treaties, the meeting at Tilsit. But Napoleon had every opportunity to just say, you know what, France is largely expanded here. We brought the empire all kinds of booty, art that we stole from art museums. And I'm going to jump down there. I've got companions that are fighting for their life here. But Napoleon, as usual, that guy was falling. One of those units was stuck. Napoleon, as usual, when people's egos get out of control, they start to make bad decisions. And he did exactly that. Just kept on pushing it, basically tried to conquer the world when Russia wouldn't participate with the what was it called, the continental system, basically a trade embargo on England. Then Napoleon foamed at the mouth and said, fuck you bitches, I'll fight everybody. We're going to ignore history here and invade Russia right before winter. We're not even going to set our troops up for winter. They didn't even have fucking winter clothes. I mean, of course, Napoleon didn't expect to be there in winter, but as a commander, you're supposed to expect the unexpected. So I guess I won't spend too long here picking on the greatest military mind in world history, or at least one of the very best, especially because I do think Napoleon was such a badass. But it is enlightening and kind of astonishing, and of course this is tactical enlightenment, that these guys make these mistakes. It's really sort of fascinating. All right, so I just did that charge here with this division so that we could push a hole, right? I want to occupy these ladders very briefly here. We're going to pull back. That way we can throw all those rocks, kill as many troops as we can, and then we will have these guys back off. So Siege of Vienna, maybe we'll cover a little bit. Here, let's cover the Battle of Mobile Bay. I think I can squeeze that in here at the beginning, although I will interrupt myself here if and when chaos begins to occur. Still got 3/4 health, and like I said, strap yourself in. This is going to be a while. The Battle of Mobile Bay, for me, is mostly interesting because it was, 1860s warfare. This is a Civil War battle between the United States Confederates and the Unions. Like I said, I won't spend a long time with this, especially since I recommend a lot of you guys are overseas and don't give a shit. But a lot of you people may have heard of Damn the Torpedoes, Full Speed Ahead, and I've referenced this in another siege before. So again, we'll keep this truncated. But the Union Army, right, the North, was trying to move in and take one of the last major southern bastions in the South, Mobile Bay. I think it's in Alabama. It was a protected harbor. There was all kinds of nasty forts that were surrounding the harbor that were preventing the Union from getting in. And the Union decided to make a naval assault, which is kind of appropriate, right, with the DLC and naval battles coming up. Hopefully we get something like this. Well, they had mostly wooden ships, but they had a couple Ironsides. The Ironsides were or iron, something like that. Basically, the first metal ships, right? They were really odd looking. And the guy that was there was a fleet commander named David Glasgow Farragut. And this guy was in his little tiny wooden ship, and he was like third or fourth in line as they tried to squeeze through this narrow opening to get into Mobile Bay, get past the forts, land, destroy whatever ship forces were inside the harbor, and then of course take the fort of Mobile Bay, which would have completely cut off the Confederates from the Mississippi River, which was all part of the plan, right? This was all part of the plan from Winfield Scott's. Who's fucking shooting me? Winfield Scott was the old fat general they had to put on a horse. I think that's his name. I'll probably butcher some names here. You fucking Consguard hiding in the weeds here, throwing shit at me. I guess he's using that new stealth skill from the expansion, right? How come I not hitting that guy? Damn it. He's just shooting our guys. He's shooting me, fucker. And tuck our troops back here just a bit. Interrupt myself for just a moment here as we clean stuff up at the gate. It feels like I have hardly any troops. I'm not feeling good about this siege so far, but there's a long way to go here. So back to Farragut, and I work on a military base where there's literally a Farragut gate. This guy obviously is pretty famous in naval history. So he's leading the charge. You can think of it as a charge of these little wooden boats. They got cannons. It's basically man-at-arms. Not man-at-arms, man-o'-wars and stuff like that, right? The British, I think, would call them ships of the line because they would all travel in a line together and fire their cannons off the side. And David Glasgow Farragut was impatient to get into the fort. Well, one of the leading boats, these wooden boats, hit a mine. And it's important for the punchline here to understand that back then, they actually called mines torpedoes. They sort of resembled them a little bit. They were basically a quasi-floating anchored bomb in the water where if you hit it and it struck it with enough force, it would explode and probably sink your boat or do major damage. So they were called torpedoes. That's essential for you to know. Well, one of the first boats that came through to get to Mobile Bay blew up and sunk. A catastrophic explosion, a bunch of guys killed. And you can imagine being next in line in the ship. You're like, well, if there's one mine, there's probably more, right? There's one of these torpedoes. There's probably several. Now, these guys won't retreat. If they don't retreat, just tell them to retreat. F1, F7. Sometimes when you tell guys to attack near a ladder well, the AI will put them right near that ladder. The AI basically says, okay, you want us to attack. We presume you mean kill the guys coming up the ladders, and you can see these guys here are being obstinate. They're not going to where I want to position them. I want to position them in the courtyard here, down here to the left, and they're not doing what I'm asking them to. So, fucking asshole sturgeons. Man, this is a nasty armor we're facing. Eventually, it'll get to easier troops, but a little while here, it's going to be gnarly troops in this battle. And I just don't feel like we have many defenders. It feels like we have a pitiful defense force. All right, so picture yourself, you're that second captain, or the boat that David Glasgow Farragut, this fleet commander of the Union flotilla, is like the third or fourth ship in. People are nervous. They're hesitant. No one wants to get exploded by mines. You can't see it, and all of a sudden there's just an explosion. Your life flashes before your eyes. and you're all killed. So people were hesitant, people were nervous, and supposedly some of his commanders were like, "Sir, there's torpedoes in the water. One of the previous boats has been sunk. The guys are hesitant to advance." And David Glasgow Farragut was like 64. He was an old war dog. You know, he wasn't about to let some fucking torpedo ruin his plan. I'm sure there was some ego involved, and he had less to lose, right, than the 22-year-old fucking commanders that are with him. He's 64. He's already lived a full life. Anyways, he's supposed to have said after this boat blew up and he heard that there are these mines, these torpedoes in the wall or in the water up ahead. Advance! Damn the torpedoes! Full speed ahead! And he actually led his boat to the front of the charge. Basically, brought it to the front of the line, and showed essentially that the quintessential courage, right, of a battle commander. Fuck it, we'll lead the way then, right? So that became kind of a famous war saying for the military, right? Damn the torpedoes! Full speed ahead! And he's basically saying, I don't care if they're fucking mines. War is dangerous. War is violent. You got to risk to win. Anyway, so you guys get a little enrichment with your episode today. I don't think we could have a 30 or 45-minute siege without at least something like that to keep it interesting, right? I can't sit here and be like, all right, I'm going to check the other side, and these guys on my right here are shooting. I can't just be a tour operator taking you around Paris or something like that. We're going to have to keep this lively with some anecdotal shit, and generally the response to it is positive. Of course, you are always welcome to leave feedback, even criticism, friends. If you don't like, damn it, we have a division run outside. Hopefully they can get back in. With no support, they're going to get mauled. But if you don't like that kind of narration, put it in the comments, fellas. I don't mind. Be polite about it. Don't be like, you stupid fuck. Quit with the history lessons. You're not a history professor. Quit trying to teach me, you dipshit. Don't write it like that. Just be like, I don't care much for the history lesson, right? And I'll take that feedback collectively, and it acts like this fucking Consguard. Kill him. Damn, he's tough, too. 2 javelins in the neck. Yeah, you bitches, come on up, right? I got a factory full of javelins for you. I'm already down to 30% health. This is starting to look sketchy. But if you don't like the commentary, or you don't like my mic, I continue to work with new mics. I don't know, it might just be my voice. Guys are like, your voice makes my ears bleed. Well, I might be born with this voice. Might just be how it is. And I guess if you don't like it, apologies, right? But I mean, I wish I had a head of hair like some of these Italian actors and shit like that, but I don't. Sometimes life's not perfect. So I'll continue to work with my mic, but I do like the feedback, fellas. So keep feeding it to me, and I'll continue to feed narration until I get a bunch of negative feedback, right? At some point or other here, we'll talk a little bit about the Siege of Vienna. And, of course, some of you are like, which one? Right? Because Vienna, of course, has been sieged many times throughout history. Very, very old city, part of the Austrian Habsburg dynasty for a very long time. And maybe we'll do a little rambling about that. The 1683 siege is the one I mean. Right? It's a major event in the history, particularly of Europe. Right? I won't give you the punchline before it happens. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with it already. And this is just not going to work. I'm not fighting particularly well here. I need some kind of other advantage here. Otherwise, we're going to get dropped like a bitch. I'm already down to a sliver of health. And, of course, all of a sudden, these guys are David Carradine, fucking monks, fighting with, better parrying ability than any player I ever played online. That's not going to make this easier. Look at that guy parried without looking. These fucking guys here. And this happens also with the StrengthenAI mod, as Hugh the Hammer here exhibits his name. Just people flying everywhere with his savage hammer. But the StrengthenAI mod, one of the things I've done with these campaigns, with this campaign, is to boost the strength of enemy nobles. You basically give them artificial skill points to their character every single day, and they get a lot, so much so that like 10 or 15 years of it, and they're maxed. What I mean by that is they're like level 44, 48, whatever it is, and they have shit like 280 one-handed, 300 bow skill, things like that. And what that does is the same thing that happens with your own units, right? I probably shouldn't have done that. I just lost half my health. We'll jump into the hay pile instead. That was just plain stupid dipshit right there. Now I'm getting fucking attacked. Damn it! And we don't fight these sieges more than once, right? Unless the siege crashes, right? We'll fight this siege more than once. At this stage, I guess I wouldn't mind if it crashed. But we're just going to roll along with this, right? We narrate and play these live. And I don't mind showing you guys losses. You guys have seen plenty of losses already on the channel and this series, right? I'm not going to tell you which battles. I like the suspense, right? You guys watching this 400 series, if you're vicariously rolling along with me here, and I don't know why you would, or why you wouldn't, right? Come on, men, get up here. I wish I could put you guys into the game like our companions in the Valandian campaign. But play along with us here, right? You'll enjoy the ride here. And these are reinforcements, thank God. I got a huge amount of mostly archers, it looks like. So take a second to split these guys. F3, F5, I mentioned that every once in a while, to split your units mid-battle like this. It's not a mod. I thought it was a mod too, but that's part of the base game. It's a nice little option they gave us. And the Sturgeons have a nice breach here, so we're going to have to fight like wolves. I'm very close to getting dropped. We do have the RTS mod, though, so when my character goes down here, when Hugh the Hammer gets hammered, we will be able to continue this siege here. We'll see how long we can juke and we bob and weave before we have to move to the next character. Troops pour up here. So the enemy, I wanted to finish that point also on the StrengthenAI mod. When the enemy lords have 280 one-handed, 220 polearm, 280 two-handed, etc., they have stuff like that. Their units get all those perks, right? Just like the perks that you give to your units and your captains from all their beneficial stats. The beauty of the StrengthenAI mod is you're now fighting on equal grounds, or relatively equal grounds, right? The enemy troops fight as well as yours. They may not have all the same perks, but it puts them on a more level par with the enemy. Now we get this 4th Division reset here. We're going to have to clear this out here. We've got all kinds of Sturgeons rampaging and screaming over here on the right side. I have no health, so I need help. I got to grab this posse and move them forward. I'm starting to get stressed. I get more stressed with the Bannerlord battle than I do doing CPR at 2 in the morning. I used to be famous in the fire station for doing CPR, and I'd go back to bed immediately. Like, oh yeah, saved another one. Or that guy died, we'll try better. We'll try again next time. You just get used to the adrenaline of the job here. And you would think I'd be used to the adrenaline of Bannerlord battles, but there's something visceral about a battle where guys, look at this guy looming up behind me. I can see his shadow. These battles elicit good stress for me, and I mean good stress. It's like a suspenseful movie. You want to watch a nice stressful movie or a horror movie. You watch it because after the movie, you get to go make love to your girlfriend or something like that. You don't get cut to ribbons by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? We like that thrill. It's like a roller coaster. If half the people who went on a roller coaster got killed, nobody would go. It wouldn't be like, oh, that seems eminently exciting. Like, there's some chance we don't make it, fellas, but let's try it, because if we make it, what relief. It's going to feel great. And I feel a little bit about like that with bungee jumping and shit like that. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not jumping off a perfectly good building. You guys can do that, and you can put the clips on YouTube. I'll watch. Incidentally, that's a famous Bill Burr joke about marriage. He goes, over half of marriages end in divorce, right? She gets half your shit. You get an acrimonious custody battle. Your life just turns to shit. You stop getting laid. He's like, but people keep doing it, right? He's like, I don't like the odds, right? I'm not getting married. Of course, Bill Burr's married today. This was young guy, Bill Burr, talking. A comedian. If you've never heard of him, he's great stuff. But he goes, I don't like the odds. Like, if you went parachuting and they told you half the parachutes weren't opening, I'd be like, fuck that shit. I got a 50-50 chance of splatting on the ground. I don't like the odds here. I'm not doing it. But people keep on lining up for marriage. And he goes, and people lining up for marriage are like, oh, is this the line? I can lose half my shit? Sweet, the line is moving, right? One step closer to my own personal hell. And I say this as a happily married fellow. It is a funny analogy, and it is funny that we almost all get married, right? Something like the marriage rate is like 70, 80, 90% of Western culture. And yet, especially in America, most of the time, most 50, 60, 70% of the time in some studies, it ends in divorce. So it's it's one of those funny things. that it doesn't make a lot of sense logically, and that's why Bill Burr's his quip there is so funny, right? Like, people are in a hurry to get an acrimonious divorce settlement, but obviously we do it for the reward, right? I have a fantastic wife. She makes me better in every single way. Never mind the sex, fellas. She makes me a better person. She feeds me better food. She teaches me how to exercise, do yoga and shit like that. And before you laugh, when you start getting older and you get out of bed and your back hurts, you too may want to find some yoga. This is just part of life, right? It's not like a bunch of pansies doing the splits on a fucking mat and shit like that. They do it for mental health and physical health. You will rarely find a yoga instructor that is just a decrepit, obese, pale. We're taking screenshots here. Anyways, the point is it's a great thing to get married if you find the right one. Right? We do a little bit of relationship advice from time to time on the channel here, but I will spare you in this episode. You got a siege here. It's carnage. Some of you guys probably want me to re-immerse myself in this siege because we have almost no health. So we'll take a little break from our extracurricular narration here. I'm really reduced to killing one guy at a time. I can no longer wade in. In fact, every single guy, we're a millisecond from being put on our back. I don't feel like I can participate right here very safely, too, right? Because some guy can randomly swing and hit you by accident. So I've got to play a little bit more cautious. But I'm also not just going to sit in the back and hit the fast forward button. We're going to continue to play this siege out, and I don't think I can stand here and just win, right? We're going to have to do some dynamic stuff. In fact, I don't like that square being right there, so we're going to have them charge. I think I'll even move them eventually. And I'm putting archers on this platform because they could shoot both the stairways. You see them shooting, they're killing the guys on the stairways. You coward! But they can also fight okay, right? The enemy's kind of trickling in over here because they don't have a siege tower. They just have ladders. So the enemy comes in 5 at a time or whatever, 3 at 1 at a time in some cases. And you see they get smoked, right? They're shot by 12 different archers. The guys that do reach, right? They're looking at 4 cons guards that are aggroed to them. I like that setup a little bit better. Take a look at the front gate here. Thank goodness we have the RTS mod to speed the battle along. I won't use it excessively, but running back and forth in a 45-minute siege. This actually might be an hour-long siege. I said it earlier, strap yourself in. In fact, here, fellas, I'm going to do you guys all a solid and kill the insane ex-wife. I always get comments, they're like, what the fuck is that? Insane ex-wife. I've never seen this unit in Bannerlord. It's not vanilla, right? I said this is sort of a vanilla siege. It's important to understand that this 400 series, all of these challenges and gnarly siege battles, are a side series from one of our other side series in our various different playlists. And it's from a series of videos we called the Aserai Peasant Revolt. And to make that Peasant Revolt more interesting, more dynamic, more unique, I made a bunch of units using the My Little Warband mod, right? So we've got all these, some of them are called like elite looters, and they have no armor still, but they have like 200 weapon skill, swinging their sabers like a savage. Some of them are insane housewives. There's an angry housewife, right? We put some female characters in there. And I had a lot of fun with the Aserai Peasants Revolt, but you can only play that kind of a campaign so long. So if you're wondering where they're coming from, that's where they're coming from. Incidentally, if you use the My Little Warband mod, you must understand this. You cannot go back. You cannot remove that mod from your game, or your game will crash. If you have any units in the game from that mod, your system, if you turn the mod off after starting with it, in other words, all of your save games will not work. So you essentially have to keep it in, which is why they're present here. I'm not using any of those units, although I guess we could for this series. I'm trying to show the strength of a well-built army here. And so far, so good, right? It's you've probably noticed the power bar disappeared a while ago, right? I try to do that for suspense, but you can feel the flow of the battle. It feels winnable right now, right? We're not having any major breaches. The enemy's coming in 3 to 5 at a time. And as long as that death spam maintains mostly green, we got a shot here, right? We need about a 12, 13, 14 to 1 kill ratio, so it has to be green. But it is, right? It has been green, the occasional death there, and then there's 10 or 15 kills in between. Now they're stacking up here. And the enemy's going to do this periodically. There's going to be a rush of troops and then a little break. That is because without the battle size mod, the enemy waves are 750 or 800, not 1800. All right, guys, I had him charge here just to beat back this assault. Anytime the enemy stacks up like this, you want to take the initiative. Don't let them attack you once they have 50 troops rallied. Kill them before they do. Right? This is kind of like Frederick the Great's invasion of Silesia in the 7 Years' War. He knew that Maria Theresa was going to invade. He knew that she was working out all kinds of treaties with various different countries. I can't remember them all offhand. The French, etc. And so he preemptively said, fuck you bitches, we attack. Right? And pull them all down here in a thin line. And we got some gnarly carnage here, even though I have to fight with a sliver of health. And you could see the timing there. That guy was so close to getting the killing blow. But this hammer is so fast, so lethal. There's very few units in the game that can outswing you when you're wielding this thing. I gotta still be careful, right? I could take a single fucking little throwing knife and drop me. But, you know, when I get down to no health like this, I enter... Look at that guy, absolute porcupine. That character had been hit by like 9 arrows and 3 javelins. Look at that shit. That's sweet. And, you know, some of our companions have 330 athleticism suits. So just like Hugh the Hammer, they have, 200 hit points. I think he has 212 or 218 or something like that. And look at this pile of sturgeons here. It has been a bloody battle already, and I don't think we're very far into it. I know that seems crazy, but I'm just conservatively guessing that we're about 2/3 of the way through. These epic battles, man. These are some of the most popular battles on the channel. That's why I continue to look for these wild battles. Don't forget, the Northern Empire is very likely to join this battle. They were right outside the city. If you remember 4.5 hours ago, when this siege started, there was a whole bunch of Northern Empire armies that were chasing me that may very well enter this battle, as if there wasn't enough carnage, right? In fact, this might only be halfway through the battle. We have had sieges on the channel that were almost an hour and a half, so maybe you need a break, right? You can always hit the old pause button. I like that. You young guys love your on-demand shit. Feel free to do so, right? In fact, I feel like I need some caffeine here, but I rarely do that. I rarely pause a game, even though I can clean it up in the editing so you can barely tell. I rarely do that mid-battle. Now, the front gate is not very active, and there's another dynamic here that I'll share with you fellas, because some of you guys are trying to replicate sieges that we do on the channel, and one of the unfortunate things is the AI can actually get sort of bugged, and you have a great siege setup that just becomes anticlimactic. Now look how few troops I have. I don't understand what's going on here. I feel like I have 150 troops, and we haven't gotten reinforcements. And I think that's because you have to be down like 50 or 70 troops to get reinforcements, right? We've already had reinforcements coming once, that big archer division. We should get at least one more, maybe 2 more tranches of archers, or tranches of reinforcements, right? Groups of divisions, groups of reinforcements. I know some guys are like, don't use the word tranche. I don't want to have a dictionary next to me while I play. That is a function of a lot of reading, fellas, right? You guys want to have a good vocabulary, and by the way, chicks dig it, and more than likely, 80% of you, 60% of you benefit on the job side of things, right? If you can write out an eloquent resume, or more accurately, if you can go to an interview where you don't have ChatGPT and give a really good interview where you're articulating and enunciating words that a lot of people have rarely heard, and maybe only highly educated people have heard, it's going to reflect positively for you, right? That's going to be a good mark in your resume process, in your hiring process. So we'll try not to use too many words, right? But we're going to vituperate colorly here, right? We're going to continue to use some big words here. We're not going to be, overly pithy with our words here. But we're going to be assiduous, right, with our siege defense here. We'll give you some more words to look up, fellas. All right, so the lines are thin because we're waiting for reinforcements, but they're holding, right? I'm attacking over here, and at this stage, I'm looking for any way that we can gain another little advantage on the enemy here. Got to sit up sometimes. Sometimes you start to sag in your chair in a long battle like this. And I guess I guess we could be down to this. There might not be any more reinforcements coming, although I would swear we haven't had 3 reinforcement waves. We'll see. It feels very uncomfortable right now. It feels like I have 12 guys over here and 16 over there, and all of them have 2 arrows in their chest already. The good thing is that the enemy, and I was mentioning this before, I interrupted myself, the enemy is suctioning to the ladders here. And this is an unfortunate part of the system, but let me explain how this works, right? And again, some of you guys will want to cover your ears for this, but anybody trying to replicate this battle, let me explain. The enemy goes to where your troops are, right? This is pretty obvious. Unfortunately, they will take... Oh shit, we're getting fucking weapons thrown at us here. Oh shit, incoming. The enemy will take... I'm going to collect all these javelins as I'm fat fingering some button here. I'll have to figure that out. But the enemy will go to where your troops are, and they will take the path of least resistance from a distance perspective. Even though the enemy would probably be better off charging through the main gate and just storming troops in here, it'll go to the ladders if you have a lot of troops on this side, for example, right? Now, there's 2 problems with that. First, the enemy will kind of trickle up, and it won't feel like a gnarly gnarly epic battle. It'll feel more like a trickle, tedious process where you're on a treadmill. Here, the enemy is at least coming up all 3 different directions at a pretty good rate, but they're coming up still kind of slow. I do wish that we had the battle size mod set up for this, although, like I mentioned before, this is a good test of fighting these battles with a lot less units, right? This is definitely a challenge for me, and this is something that I rarely do anymore, right? We use the battle size mod for almost every battle, every campaign. And so, once the enemy starts to get stacked up on the ladders here, oh shit, they're throwing weapons at me still, swinging their weapons, you fuckers, calling me a fucking dog. Catch a javelin for that insult, fucker. Call Hugh the Hammer a dog, on your back. So if you're in a siege like this and you're wondering, why that happens or the enemy seems to get bugged, oh shit, here's reinforcements. The 2nd Division has 100 and something units in it. We're going to be able to feed everybody a bunch of troops here, and this is going to increase our tactical opportunities here, right? We might even be able to try a courtyard defense on this left side, right? Bring a bunch of units over, get some crossfire set up. We might even sally out in this episode, right? Because if the enemy stacks up on the ladders, how it essentially works is they don't come off the ladders very readily. In other words, let's say you had complete control of your troops, and you had a whole bunch of troops going up the ladder, and the enemy came out with 100 archers and 50 infantry. In real life, you would tell all or 80% of those units on the ladder to break off and swarm the attacker coming out trying to kill you, right? Well, the AI kind of comes in dribs and drabs, 50 over here, 10 over there, and it doesn't work very well. Now, shit, we're hitting our own guys here. I killed one of my own guys. Even with the extra hit points, it still died. Let's back these guys up. What you can do here is you can tell them to fall back, which is F1, F5. And then once they get a decent wave, you see those little blips down there, those are my troops. Once they get a decent little wave back, just tell them to stop and square, and that'll allow me to fire these balls down here on the enemy and kill another 30, 40, 50, 80 guys here. So you can attack, right, the enemy when they're on the ladder, and unless they have ranged weapons, although I just realized these are sturgeons, it's not going to be nearly as easy as, say, the Khazate, where very few of their infantry have throwing weapons. These guys are going to throw axes and javelins at us, but if we can get our archers set up, a nice shield wall of infantry facing these ladders, we might be able to do better than we're doing here inside the castle defense outside, right? We might be able to get a 30-to-1 kill ratio with archers spread out, set up a square for a kill box, and just mangle the troops at the ladder, right? This will also be interesting for you guys, right? We'll try some dynamic tactics on the channel. We're going to explore all the different avenues of tactics on this channel. And that's, obviously that's its name. Now, these guys got bunched up. Anytime that happens, you can just point, no, I don't want you going that way. Come this way, to the left, dipshits. There we go. What you can do with them is you can move them to place. So I want them halfway in that circle over there. And then halfway over there, what we'll do is tell them to stop, right? We'll observe their little behavior. Oops, tell them to stop, and then tell them loose once they're there. No, dipshits. Okay. That's just going to have to work. They're trying to go to that point, so we'll just tell them to stop. That's close enough. Most of them can shoot from right there. Usually you tell them loose formation, and right where they're standing, they will spread out. Didn't really work right there. Sometimes I try to show you shit and it doesn't work well at all. We're killing, you guys are welcome. We're killing your insane ex-wives here. I just presume these are all your insane ex-wives. That's the thing. Right? And of course, the insane ex-wives, they think they have an abusive pile of shit ex-husband. It goes both ways. I've talked to women who have, ex-husbands and they say they're ghastly. And I've talked to men who have ex-wives and they say they're ghastly. This is all just natural exaggeration when it comes to a situation where it feels like somebody needs to be blamed, right? When a marriage breaks down, when in reality it's just human nature. I'm not saying that all marriages end in divorce automatically. What I'm saying is it's natural for familiarity to breed contempt, right? We have sayings around this for the lust that occurs early in a relationship to start to fade with time. This is shit's programmed into our brain by biology. It's designed in animal nature and our own to make sure that no woman goes unimpregnated, right? All this shit is scientifically proven, and that is why, after you've been with a girlfriend for 4 years, it's usually less from a sex point, especially, it's usually less enticing. Right? So you have to figure out other ways to make your relationship wonderful. Man, I said I wasn't going to do this shit, do the old relationship advice, so I'll just end it with a note. I always advise, even the younger guys, make sure that the main reason you're with her is not sex. I mean that, right? Especially unless she's just, unless you guys are both just having fun, have some fun. But if she's moving in, make sure that you enjoy everything else besides the sex, right? The sex will be fine, but make sure that you two can spend time together, otherwise your relationship is fucked. All right, we're gonna have to start getting aggressive here. They're really starting to pour through the gate here, and I just don't give a fuck. At some point or other, Hugh the Hammer, you guys want action anyways, let's just go berserk here. We're entering berserk mode, right? Like the Tesla fucking car. Oh, and that's probably why I wasn't doing that. We get dropped like a bitch. That was really anticlimactic too. It just all of a sudden player agent is dead. But we have, I think it said Rayma. This looks like a man, but this might be Hugh the Hammer's wife. Wazuban's wife, the same character, of course, from the Asurai campaign, is Hugh the Hammer, if anybody wonders. So it's basically Wazuban. And she's going to this is going to do just fine. It looks like she has a big, long, sharp custom polearm. She's got decent javelin skill here, and we're melting these sturgeons at the gate. And we still have her polearm to use too, right? In fact, these guys are dropping javelins here, right? So we're going to be able to load back up. We're taking, plenty of screenshots of this battle for you guys. That's just an accident. Sorry. And how beautiful. There's just, you kill people and they drop javelins. Oh, and she's got good polearm skill. This must be 200-ish. It's kind of slow, but it's long. We'll just sweep our way through here and just mow them down like they're fucking sheaves of wheat. Take that shit. These guys are fucked. More screenshots. Pick up more javelins. This is beautiful. And how nice is it? I got a full health bar. And of course you console guys are like, fuck you. I don't get mods. I'm sensitive, fellas. I apologize. You guys need mods, clearly. I don't run fucking Tail Worlds, right? I am part of a development community where there's like 30 YouTube creators that have sort of exclusive access to talk to some of the folks at Tail Worlds. So we try to give them advice from time to time. But obviously these companies have probably panels and whole like headquarters full of people making decisions about adding mods to consoles and stuff like that. That's not something we're going to have a major impact to the developers. And I'm sure they're running the math, right? My presumption is that the console earnings aren't the majority of the money they make, right? It's probably PC players, so they're just following the money, which is what a business does. This is fucking carnage on this side here. The enemy must have rallied a bunch of troops because they're pouring down in an unending wave. But I'm having a blast, right? We've got this long polearm here. It's chaotic battle. I've got 2 different archer divisions assisting us here. We got javelins to chuck. Oh shit, she doesn't have the high-end javelin skill. It didn't go through their shield. But this shit's working, right? And the death spam has turned decidedly in our favor, right? I'm feeling a lot better about things here. Although, as soon as I said that, there's a death and a bunch of guys getting to the courtyard here. Get out of here. That looks good. At some point or other, we'll pick up a shield, right? In case there's a barrage of throwing weapons or whatever. It's always nice to have a shield, and since she's got no other javelins, I can pick up a shield here with no cost. A little tiny bit of speed loss, we will suffer that to have that protection. She's wrecking shop. The levels are adding up too, right? This 400 series, I keep leveling these characters. So each battle, our army gets a little stronger, right? We go recruit some more Khans guards or whatever. But the characters, the companions, even Hugh the Hammer, they continue to get stronger. So this 400 series, in theory, you know, the later episodes, we're going to have a manifestly stronger army. But she does not do a lot of damage up close. Fuckers. Get against the wall. And these little sturgeon warriors. Sometimes these tier 2 and 3 infantry are more dangerous than the higher level ones because they swing a super fast weapon. It's almost like Legionary, right, where they're swinging a 90 speed mace. Very dangerous compared to like a line breaker. Got a little gore here. Now who did that? Look at this guy, he's shaking his head. No? You did that. Is this you're doing? Play fucking violent motherfuckers. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. He's laying right next to the head. Dude, yeah, you're under arrest. Guilty. You fucker. That's a perfect example. That's like a brigand, like a tier 3 or tier 2 infantry, and he just scalped her with a savage headshot. Get some slow motion dismemberment. Trickling through the gate here. We've got plenty of fucking pictures to show people later on here. There's more heads. These guys aren't playing nice today, that's for sure. This side is holding out better than the other sides. I was looking at this earlier. This is a really nice setup. Look at the crossfire here. These guys are protected by the guys behind me. That side's going to hold better than anyway. And it does look like there's very few troops on the ladder. So look at this. There's tons of troops piling up on the left side here. It's time to start doing some dynamic things here, right? Got all these troops over here not really being used. What we can start to do is move our troops to that other side, sally out a little bit here, shoot the shit of them outside, and if they start to pour through, I think we can do mass murder on the right side, or I guess it's the left side of the keep, right? The direction I'm heading right now. I think we can do a horrific kill box of different angles. I've had a few battles in this city with similar circumstances. And it would be both a really interesting tactic to share, but also, like I said, I think it might be more effective than the kill ratio we're obtaining right now.
Take them down!
There's just body parts everywhere. Such a beautiful, violent game, right? I mean, violence in real life is horrific, right? These young guys that are getting killed in Ukraine, the war in Iran. I mean, this shit's always horrific, right? Most Americans are sick to death of war, right? That's why I won't say any particular president, right? But that's why, in general, presidents that are like, nah, we're keeping our troops at home. That's why they're more poor, right? And this thing cycles, by the way. It typically has like a 20 or 30 year cycle where society, at least American society, becomes martial. If you don't know that term, basically becomes favorable a war. And I'll give you an example. Right after 2001, there was a huge surge in enlistment. A whole bunch of people were like ready to go avenge the 9/11 attacks and the towers that were taken down. And 20 years later, right, here we are, and people are like, fuck that, bring these soldiers home. The real horror of war has sunk in. You talk to veterans that were there, and many of them were like, yeah, it fucking sucked, man. We were killing people, and civilians were caught up in it, right? It's almost always going to have collateral damage in big wars like that. And I think Americans are just tired of seeing the flags draped over the coffins, right, as they come off the planes. Let's try this shit. You guys want something more dynamic? 1, 2, 3. I got 3 divisions of archers here. We can probably strip that 6th division too. Those 42 guys, let's bring them with here. We've got about 120 troops here, but they're fell, deadly troops. So if you've never heard fell, it means like, you know, really powerful, deadly troops, right? Lethal, strong. Let's move this square towards the enemy that's coming off the lines here. We can get our archers spread out in 3 different angles. Those guys on the right are going to get smoked. It's this left side, though, that I'm both worried about and want to take advantage of. And they are fucking throwing weapons at us. Let's get that shield wall towards the front here. I might even salvage some of these javelins. And hitting our archers. The good news is that at this kind of range, throwing weapons don't do a lot of damage, right? They're throwing their weapons, I don't know, 80 meters, something like that. These guys are not Achilles. Get the fuck out of here, you bowl-cut fucking stupid-looking sturgeon. With a fast weapon, fucking dipshits. All right, let's get these guys out here, push with the division. I think this is going to work. Look at this shit. Now, a caveat is reinforcements. We'll have to see what it looks like and how many come towards the main gate here. We've got to be kind of quick, expedient, and the tactics have to be sharp here. So let's order up a square towards the center. 2 different archer divisions spread out here. I can assist one of the waves, and of course we can charge because those are mixed division. You can see there's 18 infantry in the 6th division. Right? We're going to be able to do some things here, and this might be the ending sally here. Right? The enemy might rout. The AI fucking hates being butchered on the ladder. In my experience, that causes them to rout even more so than an enemy commander getting killed. So let's try this shit. Get out of here. Trucks. You trucks are going to get trucked. I told you. Now I want this square both moving and also pressed against the rocks, right? We're going to oscillate it. That way the enemy's vulnerable. Their backs are attacking that square. Oh shit, they are coming up in a big way. Let's push the square against the rocks here. Some of these archers may have to charge. And I've got to be ready for a potential retreat. I don't know how many more troops we have coming, right? If this starts to turn red, we're going to have to peel out of here. Now look at all these different elite troops here, right? These guys, oh shit, the square is getting fucking surrounded. All the guys from the ladder, they just made me look like a liar here. All the guys from the ladder started storming over. We got to go. We're going to have to pull these archers back here. Okay, let's get inside. How are we going to make this situation better? Let's see. You know what we can do? We can do a left side defense here. Let's go quickly. We're going to have to move quickly. Let's get the square by the main gate to bait the enemy. Let's set up 2 or 3 different nasty crossfire divisions in this left side, and hopefully we can turn this from a disaster into a winning situation. Come on, boys. Hurry up. I don't know if I have more reinforcements coming, so I'm starting, my heart rate just picked up because I realized I might have fucked us here. We'll see. We'll see if we can't turn this lemon into lemonade. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we don't get reinforcements, we're in real trouble here. Even if we get reinforcements, we might be in trouble. Let's see what this looks like. Get over here, boys. They're pouring down the steps, too. We're getting squeezed here. Fuck. Square towards the center. I need reinforcements bad. If we don't get them here, we're in trouble. Fuck. 1, 2, 3. There's 5 shields down there. We can put a few of those guys, a little tiny 5th division to hold that line. The 1st on our right in the square. Get this archer division spread out in a long line here. They'll have good angles on at least the guys coming up the ladders. Get over here, boys. And the music is stressing me out, too. All right, square. Let's tuck these boys back. Oh, we got reinforcements. Okay, we do have at least another reinforcement layer. Let's pour in here. Let's try to get these forces set up. We still don't want to fight in the open. Look at all those reinforcements trying to push their way through. There's a trucks as far as I can see. That square is good. Let's get these archers spread out down here. We need different angles because we have enemies coming at us from multiple different directions. They might even come over that top rampart. We've got a ton of infantry all of a sudden. Thank God, reinforcements. Man, was that timely. We had to have it here. This battle is fucking over without that reinforcement wave. It might be over anyways, but at least now we're going to make a last stand here. They are pouring in the main gate. Right now, I look like a dipshit for trying this tactic. Let's see if we can't recover. get over there. We got militia archers mixed in here. That's bad. I'm getting shoved like a fucking Black Friday fucking sale. It's a trucking. These guys are just hammer smashing every single guy, and it is a fuckload of them. They wrap all around the corner there, and she is slow, even without a shield. She's getting poked. Help me here. This 6th Division, get in there. Whatever you do, don't help me. Where's the chivalry, right? I'm running around with this woman, and they just watch. Let's see. Let's make a shield wall against that little hut there. So we put a square on the other side. If I can get a little shield wall trapped against or pushed against that wall, all of these archers will be able to shoot the enemy in the back, and that's got a good chance at a major tactical change here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I got some guys there in the 5th. The 5th looks good. That 1st, I need more guys in that 1st probably. Start shooting. And of course, I'm having a hard time identifying what unit is where. We got chaos at this stage. I think that'll look pretty good. Let's put them in a long line over both of these buildings here. If this starts to break down, this is where we're going to make our last stand. Get up there. Hurry up. Look at all those fucks on this shield wall. Damn it. They're starting to attack our position here. I can see guys throwing javelins at them. I love it. Some of our troops still have javelins. Every guy by now has to be injured, well, except these brand new reinforcements. All the guys that have been with us this whole battle must be just banged up on 30% health. Just like this guy. Right? I just looked down. We got 30% health left to play with. I don't know if there are any other companions left, right? So I gotta keep her alive. We could pick up some sharp, pointy sticks to throw here as trucks come up to try to truck her. Still pouring through the gate here. All right, let's push this at the back of the wall there. Let's tighten it up just a little bit. Let's back a few of these guys up too. God damn it, I'm getting fucking chased. That 5th Division is strong. 2, 3, 38 guys in that division. Let's see. That's going to work there. And now let's try this shield wall. Let's just press it against the wall here. I can't get line of sight. Fucking square. Those guys could shoot. The arrows are whizzing in here. There's quite a few militia in this division. That's not good. Here, from this angle, we can do it. Look at that. They're like wrapped on that wall now, all facing out, holding their shields up. They're going to be savage crossfire there. This side here's okay. I got like 20 guys here in this square holding the line. The enemy's starting to break down, and these guys are scorched now. Look at this poor massacre. These guys are absolutely scorched. They have no chance. Neither do you, bud. You get kicked in the face. And I tell you, I've identified undeniably one of the major advantages to be a tall character. You guys see me kick all the time. It's a very powerful tool in your combat tool chest. To be able to take someone who's holding their shield up in front of you and basically auto-kill them if you have good weapon skill. If you have short legs, this gal's short, you can't kick, right? If they're right upon you like a little sturgeon warrior and they're attacking you and you try to kick, your kick just kicks the air. It doesn't even hit them. This side is very quiet. I might pull these guys out of here, although it's kind of working still. They're smoking everything that comes over the hill there. But the short characters can't kick. You can't kick and kill. With how much I use it, it's a major detriment. Actually, they're kind of redirecting. That means they're just going to come up the stairs behind me here. Let's keep them right on this platform. I think that's about the best spot they can have. They can shoot all 3 approaches to them. I like it. Let's keep them there. Or over here. This one's a nice one, too. The enemy has to approach upstairs, up a long runway. In the kayaking world, we call that a fetch. A fetch is essentially the distance of water between land and you, and it relates to wind speed, right? There's a lot of fetch, a lot of water, and you're in a kayak. Say you're traveling to an island and there's 20 miles of water to the north. Well, anytime there's wind, you're going to have way more wind if you have a lot of fetch. You guys are learning all kinds of worthless things in this episode. We'll see what other kind of worthless things we can bring up. Some worthless anecdotes. I know I didn't get to the Siege of Vienna, the amazing charge by John Sobieski. right? The Polish king. He was like the Grand Duke of Lithuania or some other shit too. But there's this amazing siege, and it's gonna have to wait. We're gonna continue to talk about random shit, and let's throw in another little excerpt here. You guys have heard of the word silhouette. Let's tell you where that came from, because it's another one of my little avenues of history I know about. During the French Revolution, they were starting to tax the nobles, right? The king, Louis XVI, was so poor, the state was in such bad shape that he appointed a guy named Etienne Marie Silhouette, basically a French guy with the last name Silhouette. And he started taxing the nobles so brutally that they said, well, he's turning us into a shadow of ourselves, right? Basically an outline of our former selves, right? Oh no, the rich are becoming less rich. And forever since, that has become the meaning of a silhouette, right? It means kind of an outline or a shadow of your former self. Really, really kind of cool to learn that part about history. And maybe you think that's stupid. And maybe you think this is stupid too, but I'm hopeful I can finally end this battle here. I desperately need a break here. This siege must be an hour long, and we're going to try some dynamism here, right? We're going to try to break these guys once and for all. I might even try a kill box on units coming, reinforcements coming. I've got a butt ton of archers. I've got this strong square, and we're just going to commit to this. Not all our troops. Oh shit, javelins incoming, right? There's a ton of throwing weapons coming. We're going to have to get shields up here, and I think we'll just move our archers back. But I'm going to collect all this shit, right? I've got 9 hit points. I'd much rather fight at range. Thanks, they're just throwing it right in front of me. It'd be nice if the aim of units was a little better. They will literally empty their whole quiver, and it'll hit the ground all around you and never hit you. These guys coming up. Oh shit, I better not get hit in the head after making that statement. She has horrific aim, and I wonder if she has like 80 throwing skill, because I can't hit anything. I feel like I can't hit that whole group of enemies out there, even if I'm right next to her. I think she has like 80 throwing skill. This is not her forte. Tons of javelins here, though, right? I love it. I've got even more javelins I can misthrow, and I feel good about this now, right? The enemy is a long ways away from all of these archers. The rest of the archers are coming, or we can grab more. In fact, let's take this 4th Division and add this. This will be like 100-something archers. And a point here, a very important point from a tactical perspective. Why are we at range? Ordinarily at range, you guys shoot a lot of arrows into shields, don't do a whole lot here. But when unlimited ammo, you don't care, right? Let them fire. Anytime you're defending a siege, your archers, crossbow, have unlimited ammo. Your javelin guys run out, but your archers have unlimited. So I don't care if they miss, or I don't care if they do a little bit of damage instead of maximum damage. Yeah, just have them keep shooting. We're going to have a square out here shortly. Bring some more units out. This fucking clip captured button. I'm watching for reinforcements, because that's the real threat. You can see these guys on the ladder are using throwing weapons at us, but they're a long ways away, right? They're just kind of chucking them into the sand here and having no effect. Of course, I'm also having no effect. She is pitiful. And she feels slow, I guess. You know, she's not, oh shit, here come reinforcements. Okay, let's see. We can use that rocks behind us here to press a nice shield wall, just like we did inside the city. 1, 2, 3 archer divisions. I've got a little bit in that 2nd division. We might pull one more archer division out here. And this is risky, right? But we're going to keep you fellas entertained. We could probably sit inside the castle for the next half hour and win this battle, but I'm out of stories for the time being, and we're going to have some gnarly parts to this battle. The sun is setting. Like I said, I need a break, and see if we can't finish this battle right here. If we can do enough damage to these guys, let's sit up for this shit, do enough damage to these guys here and really hammer them on that siege ladder there. Fuck, they're pressing up on our right. Then I think we can cause them to rout. They are down to low-level troops, right? The enemy has to be getting low on troops. And you know what? I haven't seen anything about the Northern Empire joining this battle. I have not seen... my lord, more enemies are coming here. We're going to have to charge with this infantry. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 divisions. The square is getting swarmed. Fuck, I might have fucked this. Let's see, that division is untouched. Let's give those guys a better angle here. The 5th is inside. We'll leave them there. Or the 4th. Shit. Some of these guys are just going to have to charge. 1, 2, 3. I see 7, 8 infantry right there. The sergeant crossbow are good. The militia's shooting. Let's get this square pressed against the rocks here, and then we're going to charge. The death spam right now is not good. I might have made a mistake. Throwing weapons are coming in. But we get that square against the wall. All these guys will turn their backs to us here. Oh shit, somebody did a really nice hit on that guy. He went flying. The physics gets haywire sometimes. I've got no health. I've just got to run. We've got that 7th Division still inside here. The death spam looks pretty good, and they're still being magnetized to that left side, so we're not fighting all of the sturgeons. That's key here. If it was all 7, 8, 900, we'd be fucked. But that's good death spam, right? The archers are back a little ways here. They're still raking. And it's just pure green death spam as our square holds the line. They're really in a shield wall against that rock, but they might as well be in a square, right? Their one side has the best protection of all, nature. A big giant fucking sandstone rock. I'm hacking them down here from behind as well. Our archers are working. The death spam is pure green. This is beautiful. Please bring more sturgeons for us to kill, right? In fact, we've wiped out that side closest to the keep. I got to get some more reinforcements here, or at least get another archer division out here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. We're really starting to run low on troops here, but we just devastated that like 300 or 400 sturgeons. It started bad, but it finished, and now we've got these guys over here. Let's advance. These guys that are on the ladder here are vulnerable. They've got no reinforcements. In fact, this might be all that the enemy's left. I don't know, right? But without accessing the little menu, I just don't know. And they just vanished. Did they all die? Oh, they're routing. Wow. And I mentioned it, right? Sometimes that kind of an attack, look at them run. That kind of attack just breaks the enemy morale. And off into the sunset they go. What a glorious siege defense this was. It was tight, but we managed to prevail here. Another beautiful scene here in this huge city of Hussenfolk. It really does look like a gigantic, vast medieval city. Kudos to the map makers and Tale Worlds, and kudos to them for making such a great game, right? This game has all kinds of warts, right? I'm not gonna list them all here, right? You guys know the warts, right? The AI could be better, blah blah blah. That is just a fantastic thing to experience, and hopefully you guys enjoyed just watching it, right? Hopefully you learned a little bit from that. Now you know all about damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. And the next time, you hear the word silhouette, it might, mean something a little different to you. But if nothing else, hopefully you were entertained, and we showed those bastards, right? Look at the bastards run. Of course, the Fian Champs worked here. Their companions ripped it. We killed almost 6,000, and the rest broke off. Beautiful. No sign of the Northern Empire, right? So that means they might be looming outside this city. Incredibly, we might get another siege for this series. I'm not going to include it on this episode, though. I'm desperate for a break. Gotta pee. I need some water. Fuck, I need a smoke. But hopefully you enjoyed that shit. That crazy battle here. 4,700 prisoners. I don't even give a shit, right? We've got to like gather ourselves here. And Hugh the Hammer. Oh, I was wondering how he had hit points. He got dropped. That's the healing they do after the battle. He doesn't have 30% hit points. He was laying in the dirt somewhere. We'll see what the loot looks like here, and we'll wrap this episode up. Some pretty nice loot, but nothing to get too excited about, especially since it's fucking Bannerlord. It's a game. This doesn't mean shit. With all that said, we will wrap this fucking gnarly siege and episode up. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We try to do Epic Siege every Saturday. If you want, something to entertain you on Saturday night or Sunday or something like that, we try to do one a week. Come back to the channel anytime you want, fellas. Your presence here is welcomed. Please subscribe, of course. Hit that like button on the way out. Leave any comments or requests. And with all that said, I will see you, friends, next time.